Poverty is one of the biggest and most complicated problems in our world. In Squid Game, this reality is shown in a raw and powerful way, highlighting how people in desperate situations are forced to make impossible decisions. The series not only criticizes economic inequality, but also helps us understand poverty by exploring its causes, its effects on people, and how it continues to exist both in wealthy and poorer countries. First, let's break down what it really means to live in poverty. Actually, there are different types of poverties and definitions of poverty. The less severe poverty is situational poverty. In this case, it's a normal family that, because of a crisis, because of a sudden event like a natural disaster, maybe you got fired from your job. This creates a hard situation for you and your family. That's called situational poverty. Usually this is temporary. You will find another job. You will find other ways to recover your money, and you won't be in this state forever. The second less important poverty that exists in our society is relative poverty. That's when somebody can afford to live at the average standard of their society, even in rich countries. This is calculated by, it depends on the country, but usually it is set on 50% of the average salary. So let's say that the average salary in the United States is $100,000 a year. This means that if you are receiving less than $50,000 per year, you're going to be considered relatively poor. You're not necessarily poor, absolutely poor, but you're living below the average standard of your society, of your country. It depends on the country because the GDP in the US is not the same that the one in Spain, for example, or Mexico, but still, you're considered below average, so poor. In this case, passing to the third point is absolute poverty. That's when people don't have basic needs like food, clean water, or housing. This is the case of many people, homeless people here in France, in Spain, in the US, everywhere in the world there's homeless people. That is considered absolute poverty. But there's something even worse. That's generational poverty. That's this situation from one generation to another generation, and nobody is able to escape that. Finally, the most severe poverty that exists is extreme poverty. That is set by the United Nations, and this means living on less than $1.90 a day. This is not usual to be seen in the first world countries, like the countries in Europe or the US, but mostly on developing countries, like the ones on Africa, maybe South America. That is not that much usual, but you can also see in South America and Asia too, depending on the country. Even in highly developed countries like South Korea, around 16% of the population lives below the relative poverty line. That means that millions of South Koreans are struggling to get by despite living in one of the strongest economies. This reality is reflected in Squid Game's characters. Ji-hoon, for example, represents people trapped in debt due to predatory lending and unstable jobs, which is a common problem worldwide. Ali, on the other hand, shows the struggles of migrants facing wage theft, lack of legal protections, and being excluded from social safety nets. These examples highlight how unfair systems keep people from escaping poverty, and this is exactly what causes generational poverty. This problem isn't limited to developing countries. Even in rich nations, there are communities living in fourth world conditions. Fourth world conditions means people living in third world poverty, but in the first world countries. These are often ethnic minorities, migrants, or families stuck in cycles of generational poverty. In cities like Seoul, some neighborhoods with poor housing and limited services resemble extreme poverty found in developing countries, creating a stark contrast between the wealthier districts and the poorer districts. Poverty doesn't just mean lacking material things, it deeply affects people's psychology. In Squid Game, we see this in how characters make decisions. Ji-hoon, for example, returns to the deadly game because his life outside is just as desperate. Studies show that poverty creates a scarcity mindset where people focus only on short-term survival and can't plan for the long term. This explains why people sometimes make choices that seem irrational, that they're just trying to get through the day. South Korea's rapid economic growth has created big inequalities. A competitive job market and easy access to debt have left many families in constant financial stress. Globally, over 700 million people live in extreme poverty on less than $1.90 a day. This represents around 10% of the total population in the world. This is a lot. But even in wealthy countries, millions of people known as the working poor have full-time jobs, yet still can't afford basic necessities. Poverty also has a tasting impact on future generations. Without access to good education, healthcare, or job opportunities, families often stay stuck in a cycle of poverty. In Squid Game, Seo Bae-yeok's story shows this reality. She risks everything to give her younger brother a better life. Many families in poverty make these sacrifices, prioritizing their children's future, even when it means taking extreme risks. However, poverty isn't just an individual problem. It is the result of systems that benefit the few while leaving many behind. In the series, the Golden Mask VIPs symbolize a wealthy elite disconnected from the struggles of the poor. The good news is that poverty can be addressed with real solutions. Programs like universal basic income, free access to education and healthcare have successfully reduced poverty in many parts of the world. By focusing on structural changes, we can create a fairer society where everyone has a chance to succeed. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you liked this special format in honor of Squid Games. If you did, please let it know down in the comments by dropping a like down there. And as always, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel to learn more about economics, sometimes through special ways like today we had the chance to.